let's talk about the reality of this mortgage prison that a lot of people seem to have themselves in now. Stephen, we're hearing in Brisbane the catastrophising of, what has been extraordinary house prices. They're now saying maybe, could be, possibly in a year or two's time, 160K on average less. But people seriously have borrowed big. House prices fall. This is a prison for them. This is really at the heart of a lot of the big problems many everyday Australians are facing right now.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Gary, but I think there was a certain inevitability to it too. When we had record low interest rates, people were always going to get into the market. It was always going to push the price of properties up, particularly when we've got governments actively strangling supply of land release and,
exactly.
And availability of homes. Look, this was always coming. Unfortunately, that doesn't make it any better for the people that are now stuck in it.
No, they're certainly not. And of course, on top of that, the Australian government now are going to basically consign anybody who hasn't got a low emission vehicle. Their car's going to be useless. I mean, this kind of EV nonsense is adding to the pain and the misery. But, over here in Brisbane, Carolee, we had Jonathan Shree, as he used to be called, but now he wants the full name, Shree Ranganathan. He's a Greens councillor. He's the one and only Greens councillor in Brisbane. Doesn't necessarily like public housing in his own electorate, seems to vote against it. But he's now saying, here's the handy guide on how to find an empty house, go and squat on it. He says, don't do it. I mean, this is the madness we've got with 50,000 people couch serving in Brisbane, 15,000 homes that are missing from the housing stock because we build on floodplains. And now we're going to go and squat in other people's homes? Really?
Yeah, look, I think it's a highly irresponsible post that he put out on social media, encouraging people with unoccupied dwellings around Brisbane, why don't you go and squat in them? I mean, what does he think he's doing? He's evidently trying to make a name for himself. I note that his name is about another 5 letters longer than my surname, but there we go. But anyway, I just think it's bad, and I think and there you go. But I have to say to you, I just think that, I mean, we have the same here with Greens, in Western Australia as well. They always seem to be just off the spectrum, off the chart with some of the policies that they want to do. Now, they have some well-intentioned ideas, but they're very ill thought out. I mean, you're basically encouraging people to break the law and go and squat in people's houses. It would probably be better to try and, find out the reason as to why they can't get into a property of themselves and look at their own circumstances. But I mean, I see that he was slammed today by Adrian Skinner, and rightly so, because it's abhorrent. And of course, I noticed that he did a postscript at the end saying, oh, look, I don't want anyone to break the law. Why say anything like that?
No,
he's trying to make a name for himself. I put it to you, he'll go back to S by the end of it, not his full name.